For today's math homework in the book, it's page 56, number 1 through 18, all of them. So let's go through and do some together. So for number 1 through 4, it says graph each number and its opposite on a number line. So if we have negative 2.8, this is where we have to realize, our decimal 0.8 is 8/10. Or 80/100ths. So we start at 0, and since it's negative, we're going to the left. 1, 2. And because this is such a strange decimal, it's not 0.5, it's not 1/4, it's not even 0.75, we have to realize that we're not going to get it to be perfect, but we do need to make it in between -2, -3, and past the halfway mark. So the halfway mark would be, that's really not the halfway mark. That's about 3/4. So we would have to make it in between there and the 3. So that's about as accurate as we can get that, and that's okay. So then we have to graph the opposite. So you go 1, 2, and you have to do in between the 2 and the 3, but closer to the 3. Because it's 2.8. So that is negative 2.8 and its opposite. So its opposite would be positive 2.8. So that's number 1, and then I'm going to go ahead and do number 4 with you. You're going to be doing number 2 and number 3, or you can join our live meet, and you can ask me for help on those. So for number 4, we have 1 and 1/3. So if we know anything about fractions, if this is a whole, and we would have to split it into 3 equal pieces, 1/3 would just be one shaded in piece. So it's less than a half. It's less than half of a whole. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to go to my 1, and 1/3 is less than half. So if I make a halfway mark, it's going to be closer to the 1. So I know that's confusing, but it's not going to be the most accurate decimal point or the most accurate plot you've ever done. So then we do the opposite. We're going to go backwards 1, and then we have to make our halfway mark, and it's again going to be closer to the 1, and that would be negative 1 1/3. And just because I want to, I'm going to write the opposite at the top so I know what my other graph is. So for number 2, that's a positive 4.3. You'd be graphing the opposite, as well as negative 3 4/5. You're graphing that and the opposite. So now for 5 through 10, these are so easy. Find the opposite of each number. You're changing the sign. So you are changing the sign. If it's positive, then it is negative. If it is negative, then it is positive. So let's do number 5. 3.78. Since there's no sign, it's automatically positive, so we change it to a negative 3.78. That's super easy. Now let's look at 7. 0. 0 is not negative or positive, so it stays 0. And I'm going to have you do 6, 8, 9, and 10 on your own. Number 11 is a vocabulary question. Explain why 2.15 and negative 2.15 are opposites. Tell me why. That is an on your own. And then find the absolute value of each number. That's so easy. It's my favorite thing to do, because absolute value is always positive. So even if it's already positive, it stays positive. Okay? So for number 12, 5.23 is still 5.23. Negative 4 2/11 is 4 2/11. You are rewriting the number, but you are not adding any sign because they are all positive. And this one's a little tricky. The absolute value is just 0 for number 14. Number 18 is on your own. How do you identify the opposite and the absolute value of a rational number? So that's any number. How do you identify the opposite and the absolute value? So tell me how you would find the opposite of any number and then how you would find the absolute value of any number. That's on your own as well. So your homework is to complete this whole page. We've done some together. You need to finish the rest on your own. Super easy.